Saboteur in the silence, So here, Pastor Elijah stood at the pulpit every Sunday, preaching hope. His voice was calm, his eyes steady. People called him, the anchor of the storms. His church had grown from a dozen chairs in a dusty hall, to hundreds of hearts, worshipping under one roof, right? But then it began, not with a scandal, not with a portrayal, just whispers. Why doesn't he listen more? He seems distant these days. Shouldn't we vote, on the divisions? Okay, he brushed it off. People get nervous. He thought it would pass, but it didn't. One morning, the music director quit without a word, right? Two elders stopped returning calls, the youth pastor began doing, his own thing, and a strange coldness settled over the congregations, not hatred, just hesitations. At home here, Elijah's wife asked him over dinner, why do you look so tired lately, right? So he smiled weakly, right? It's just the pressure. I will handle it, right? But the pressure kept building. He started second guessing, his sermons, changed decisions last minute, avoided conflict, kept the peace at any cost. He told himself that he was being humble, in truth, he was being stirred. Okay, one night, unable to sleep, Elijah walked into his study and collapsed into the chair, Bible open, hands trembling. That's when the dream came. He was back in his church, but it was filled with smoke, not fire, not light, just smoke. People were walking around confused, bumping into the one another, blaming on another. And here, standing at the front was a creature, right? Not loud, not violent, just watching. Its mouth never moved, but its presence stirred, anxiety in every heart, right? It whispered lies, not through sound but through fear. So, and here every time, Elijah tired to speak truth, the creature would slowly raise its hand, and people would turn on him, not because they hated him, but because they were afraid. He woke up dressed in sweat. The next morning, Elijah did something radical. Here he stopped trying to please everyone. He preached with fire, not to anger, but to awaken. He called meetings and told the truth, plainly. He apologized, for being passive, for fearing conflict, more than God. He told his leaders, we are not here to manage emotions. We are here to fulfill a mission. Some left, many stayed, and for the first time in months, the smoke began to lift. So the moral story is what the enemy doesn't always attack with swords, right? Sometimes he sabotages with smile, with silence, with fear, and fragile feelings. But those who lead with clarity, truth, and courage rooted in something deeper than approval, those are the ones who survive the storm. So here, leadership and emotional sabotage, by Joe Rigney, right? So yeah.